came over. We share black.
חלב לא טוב.
Yeah, but John Lachlan's right. These are fun.
זה טוב, תאריכים זה טוב. נראה לי זה לא היה טוב. Okay. Who else just came? You just...
Aviva? I got some.
Where are you from?
Montreal.
Okay. So I was meditating over the course of my Erev. I'm actually, honestly, really quite humbled to be in this conversation. Very powerful, because the conversation really is a very real one. You know, when you learn Hasidus, a lot of it is it's a theory, and then there's the actual practice of like tachlis. How do you live it? And what we seem to be talking about in this forum is really that practical. How do we live it? And it is, it's quite Hashgacha Pratis, by providence, we're holding by Chanukah and by Parshas Miketz. So, you know, by Jews, whenever we have an issue to deal with, we always look to the Parsha and the time that we're living in. And we find the answer to all the things that we need in the Torah, and the Torah as it is applicable to that particular time. So I think the question that we're trying to deal with is, what I heard from you guys, is how to live in contradiction. How do you live in an absolute state of, on the one hand, looking to find a shidduch and looking to get married, and that is an important component of life. How do I find my shidduch, my zivug? How do I find my bashert? At the same time, the more I'm trying to find my bashert, where did she go? And the more I'm trying to find my bashert, the more difficult it is to find my bashert. So it's like, I have to not be looking, and I have to be in a state and in a space that everything's good and fine. And at the same time, it isn't. And the question is not what to do. We know what should be done. It would be very nice if we could do that. Yeah, I don't care. But what if I do care? And I really, really, really want something? How do I live without wanting it? So I want to tell you a story. You may have heard the story before. Let's take a deeper look at the story. Story is, there was a fellow by the name of Joseph. Heard of him? Yaakovson. Oh, the real. Where's the skeleton? Is Machon? Skeleton, please. I'll close it. So anyway, Yosef, phenomenal character, right? Really, really amazing character. So the story goes that Yosef is once is in prison, and he wants to get out of prison, and he tells Saramashkim, the butler, please remind me to Paro and get me out of this place. And then Saramashkim delays 2 years until he has no choice. And then he says to Yosef, he says to Paro, I remember there was this guy in prison with us in Ivry, and we got to get him out of prison. Let's bring him out of prison. He's going to have to answer your question. What was Paro's question? Do you guys remember?
What was his dream?
What was the dream?
What did his dreams interpret?
So what was the dream?
The cows.
So let's get this dream straight. Paro dreamt Most dreams I know of are not so important. Paro's dream was clearly very important because it was chosen as a dream that would be eternalized in the Torah itself. What does Paro say? So I had a dream. I saw 7 fat cows, and the 7 fat cows were afterwards eaten up by the 7 thin cows, lean cows. And they ate them, but it wasn't even noticeable that they ate them. Then I woke up and I was shocked. I went to sleep again. I dreamt again. I had the same dream again. And this time there were 7 kernels of wheat. Fat ones came up, and then the kernels of wheat were swallowed up by 7 thin ones.
Ouch!
Now, Paro comes along and he says, what could the dream possibly mean? His heart was throbbing. What's the dream? I don't know what the dream is. So what does he say? Calls up all his chartumim, all his wise men. And he says, guys, help me figure out what is this dream. And what happens?
He didn't accept it.
They all tried. And nobody knew. Farshim say, Rashi says that what he did was he says, like, for example, you're going to have 7 kingdoms. 7 kingdoms you're going to conquer. And then 7 kingdoms are going to conquer you. So that's the 7 fat ones, the good times. And the 7 thin ones are those who are going to conquer you. And you're going to have 7 daughters.
They're all gonna die.
They're going to die. Well, you'll have 7 daughters. No.
Yeah.
7 daughters will be born, and 7 daughters will die. And it's 7 and 7. Right? And Paro listens to all the dreams and he says, no. So Saramashkim, the butler, says, I don't know what to tell you, but there was a guy way back when, 2 years ago, in prison. I think he can solve a dream for you. Now, I'm going to pause the story for a second and ask you guys. You are the Chartumim of Mitzrayim now. You're all the wise men of Mitzrayim. And you're being called upon to answer the dream of Paro. Can you please tell me, how would you guys answer the dream of Paro? Paro says, I dreamt I had 7 fat cows and I have 7 thin cows, and you have to interpret what fat cows, why cows are fat and why cows are thin. What would you say?
I already know the answer, but I
You
think
do?
there would be bias in terms of being scared to say something wrong. So they would definitely say something that has that. They try to figure out what Paro wants to hear.
Right. So how would you explain it?
Yeah, but losing his kingdom to
They're gonna
Bitachon
do
is not something good.
What's worse, having 7 bad years and then 7 good years and 7 bad years? Or you'll have 7 kings will conquer you and they'll conquer back. Why? Or 7 daughters
They
will
all
die.
cancel each other out. So what's the point?
Why is that good?
Yeah, it's not good.
So
He obviously knew the answer, but he
They
just
didn't
didn't know what it was.
Also, how did he know that it wasn't it?
They knew
How
the
did he
answer.
tell
Yeah,
them all that they were wrong?
whatever the answer was, how
He
did
knew the
Paro not?
answer, but he forgot
Yeah.
what the answer was. He
Very
thought
good.
it wasn't it.
Okay, so you guys get what you're saying.
Oh, that's true.
Let me just say what you're saying. You're saying like this.
He knew the answer, but he forgot.
Right. So Paro really knew what the answer was.
That's true.
He just couldn't remember the answer. So the answer is basically
They were biased.
that it was Mishamayim. What?
Both are together in the dream, right? The fat and the
Oh.
thin.
Remember that? You learned that?
7, yeah.
So here's what happens. Paro doesn't know what to do. 7 fat cows, thin cows. So the story seems to be a good fairy tale. How is it a fairy tale? Because, well, basically Yosef's the only one who's got half a brain. What does Yosef have? He has half a brain. Most people could figure out that the reason, it's pretty easy. The reason why someone is fat is because they ate a lot. And the reason why they're thin is because they're in a state of famine. When you eat, you're fat. When you don't eat, when you starve, you're thin. Not that brilliant rocket science. Facts of life. Why could nobody else figure it out besides Yosef?
They're all focusing on other things.
Why are they focusing? Why are they focusing on other things? Okay, hold on. Let's build our way to that. Second question is, Yosef is a very Jewish fellow. Very Jewish. Paro should have figured out he's Jewish just from what he did. He says, well, some fat cows are fat cows because it's good years, thin cows because it's bad years. And by the way, I think it's a good idea to have someone, I'm not saying someone who his job will be to, collect food, be in charge of collection, and then afterwards, just throwing an idea for you.
And also, you don't bring like a bad thing on the head of the king, like to be conquered by another kingdom.
It's not good either.
No, like there is no
Solution?
or job plan.
Right.
And to kill the
Well, there is a
daughter-
job plan. What do you
No,
mean?
but
Yes,
and to kill the daughters of the king, it's like it's finished.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if
the one is bring doctors who and the other one is bring better soldiers. I don't know, whatever. But Yosef is soliciting a position over here. Okay.
He used it as an opportunity.
And this story has the answer to our life's dilemmas. How do I know the story has the answer to whatever issue you are going through now?
Joseph was going through the same thing.
The answer is because A, it's Torah, and B, it's not just the Torah, it's the Torah of this week's parasha. And this week's parasha is always relevant to you in your life and the issues we're discussing now. So if you have an issue you brought up now and we're having a Fabrengen now, then it has to be that is the answer for you. Where's the answer for you over there in the story of Yosef? Make one? It has to be, let me just put it out there, something you never thought of yourself. If you could have thought about yourself, you don't need the Torah to tell you. It has to be something that is direct from Torah, and the Torah inspires you to change your life and to live life in a new way, in a wholesome way, in that story.
You're not supposed to rely on anybody beside Hashem.
You're not supposed to what?
Rely on anybody beside Hashem.
Otherwise, you get that's single for another 2 years.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
You're not supposed to rely on anybody beside Hashem.
Isn't that the message from last week, from the end of Parashas Vayeshev?
Yeah.
He didn't remember him, and he didn't have Bitachon, right? So I fully agree. Yes,
Last week.
but now we're on to the next story, which is the story of the Paro's dream.
So we have like good things and bad things. We shouldn't allow the bad things to take over the good things.
Also,
or use
The depth of that first, for those who don't know that. The shidduch in Chassidus is that Paro's dream, again, I don't know about Paro, but Paro's dream is recorded in the Torah. It must have been a brilliant, spectacular dream, and it's recorded twice. Yes, indeed. So the vort of the dream is this. Paro had a problem. The problem was that he saw the 7 fat cows and the 7 thin cows alongside each other. They were standing together. That was the problem. Paro, when he saw 7 fat cows, he knew that cows are fat because they ate. When he saw 7 thin cows, he knew they didn't eat. He knew that meant, so why is there 7? 7 seasons, 7 years? Pashut, simple. And every one of the Khartoumim was crystal clear on that too. All the Khartoumim were well aware. The reason why the cows are fat is because they ate, and the reason why they didn't is because they didn't eat. And the reason why there was 7 until 7 seasons, and everything was as obvious as you could get. There's only one thing that didn't make sense in the dream, and that was the only thing that was bothering Paro, and that's the part that he was just crazy and sugar over. His problem was the 7 fat cows were standing on the Yaor, at the same time as the 7 thin cows. Which means-
Which one came first, or what is the?
Is what?
How can they live at
How can they be
the
together? Excuse me, can you just repeat with different words? Because of the
Seven-
English, I don't understand.
7 fat cows come up, right? The story should have been that 7 thin cows came. Tzvi. 7 fat cows come and they devoured by 7 thin cows. So I would expect the fat cows to come and eat up the thin cows. And then it would make perfect sense. Instead, what happened was fat cows stand on the Nile. Thin cows come and also stand on the Nile. And now they're together. And then these ones they were standing together alongside each other. And that's clear in the Pasuk. And that was the part that Paro could not reconcile. He didn't know how to handle that the fat and the thin are there at the exact same time, identical time. How could it be both?
That's exactly our question
Hmm?
about our lives.
But he didn't forget the last part of the dream, which was eating the fat one. So why did that bother him so much?
So the fat ones being there was the fat years. So it's going to be bad years and good years.
Did Joseph answer the question?
Oh, did Joseph answer it? What is the answer? How do you answer that? How do you live bad and good simultaneously?
You say you have to save up for these next
Oh.
7 years.
Remember the good in the bad.
So let's just understand what none of the Khartoum knew what to answer. And we have to really get into that, why they didn't understand. What did Yosef understand? What did he say? Tzvi.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
What did Yosef understand? What did Yosef answer? Once we get to what he answered, we're going to have to delve into the question of why was he able to answer and nobody else was able to answer? So what was his answer? His answer was
You have to save up.
the solution was not a solicitation of a position.
Interpretation of the middle.
It was interpretation of the dream, of the problem of the dream. We're foolish. Like, you really didn't think we brought you out to tell us that. We all knew that. And then Yosef threw the bombshell. And he says, what you should do is have someone collect food.
Why is that so genius?
Why would
Why is it so genius? Well, first of all, let's understand that did he solve the problem?
Yes, he did. For Mitzrayim.
Didn't really help because everyone else's food spoiled.
The what?
Everyone else's food spoiled.
But Mitzrayim was good. Got
Very
very
well,
rich out of them.
yeah.
The only problem was he saved, not the other Egyptians.
The what?
Okay, so he solved the problem.
Maybe they didn't think that they could save food for 7 years because it would spoil.
But their food spoiled
These
anyway.
ones
So
were
they
there.
were home.
That he had this
Hiya.
solution to the problem?
No,
Can't tell me about
but that the food didn't spoil.
Oh.
How would someone else suggest that? They didn't know that it could save for 7 years.
So he sees, again, he says the solution is that during the bad years, during the good years, you're collecting for the bad years. So you're expecting bad. That means that even while it's good, you're living knowing that you're going to have a lacking, preparing for the bad. If you're preparing for the bad, it means that you're not satisfied, you're not happy.
It's like
And
saving
conversely,
money, or like
exactly.
paying insurance.
Yeah. So you're never actually fully satisfied. And then conversely, when you don't have afterwards, now you do have, because you saved up from before. So you're both together. So that was the answer. The question was, how come the fat cows and the thin cows were standing alongside at the same time as each other? The answer is, because during the fat years, you're going to be collecting and expecting the good, or the bad.
So you're always thinking
You're thinking about, things are good, but I'm thinking about the bad.
That's how it is a lot. Like,
Yeah.
But what if it's not
Like,
always the
when it's
good
bad.
comes before the bad?
Yeah.
Right,
The
that's
bad
what I
comes
was
before the
saying.
good.
You're preparing for the fat years.
We're expecting the good. Is that how we should live? though?
Why is this story so critical? I'm sure many stories happened in those days. They were not chosen to be part of the Chumash.
Story
This
of
story was chosen
everyone's
to be part of the Chumash because it's relevant to us and applicable to us. And if you want to know the problem that you guys are, working with now, the answer lies right there in the parasha in front of you. All we want to do is just discover the power of what the Torah has to say and how is it relevant to us?
So it has to be that not this time that we're living. It's in some waters of fat years that we have to get.
Well, I think
Yeah,
everyone's
isn't that
living in a
about
different.
The question
depends on
basically
how
is,
you feel about how you're right
You
now.
have to see.
well,
it that
let's go
way.
back and ask. I want to ask this question:
It's good year for me too.
Why was
I don't
Yosef?
know.
Why was Yosef able to figure it out? I mean, okay, I get it. So it's a great answer.
'Cause
Why could Yosef?
Because he
Because
has
Yosef
the
was
Bitachon.
Kodesh.
he likes to play the Torah.
I think
What?
His life.
His
He
life
was
is
the
what?
simcha.
And therefore,
He was in jail and he was happy.
Right.
so if you're in jail and you're happy, therefore you can figure it out. So how do I do that? Can I get some of what he was doing? With
Yeah.
some of that
He
stuff?
sees from above. Like he's not focused on the negativity around.
I think he had Bitachon. That's what Brother Mariam was saying. That like he's when Pari said like, "Are you gonna be able to give me the answer?" Or
So-
he said something. He said, "Hashem will literally put the words in my mouth. Hashem will interpret it for you."
Right. So how do I do
Then
that?
why
You
he
want to tell me how I
asked?
do that? And how
You
you do
tell
that?
us how you
Yeah,
do that.
What?
Learning Shara Bitachon.
So one thing, I got a problem, right? My problem is, it's a real problem. I need to find the shidduch. And one day follows another and another and another. And, when you're 27, does it ever cross your mind that you're only 13 years away from being 40?
Thank you.
Sorry for putting it right out there.
40?
We're void math. And this is now
50?
My
You're more than
parents.
halfway.
Closer to 50 than we are.
Oh gosh.
And what that does is it creates a space of fear,
Anxiety.
anxiety, what else? Depression,
So don't do math.
Loneliness.
Loneliness.
Bad
Thank you.
thoughts.
Neediness.
Mm.
And it creates a rift, a valley, a gate, some of us, a valley of death. And you feel you're walking through this valley. And that space is very, very scary. And what happens in that space, in that valley, is not so good, to put it mildly. Right?
Create space for other negative thoughts to come in.
Right.
The more negative you have, the more negative you create, the more negative you breathe,
In Bomaim.
and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So there's-
And the more you try to get out of it, it's like quicksand. Because the more you're trying to get out of it, the more you exacerbate the problem.
Mm.
That's a lot of
Move it, Jesus.
What?
A lot of the other things.
A lot of people with that, I agree.
How,
Well, the
like,
more you're
what's
trying, the
that?
more frustrated you get over why can't I do this? Why can't I find a shidduch already? Why can't I get married?
Okay.
The more you feel needy, the more needy you feel, the more needy you become, the more needy you actually become.
So what's
And it's
the
a
right
vicious
way to
cycle.
get out of the hole?
That question is the question that occupied the parasha. That's why Hashem chose to put that in the parasha, because this parasha is the one that leads us into Golus. This story is the story that caused Yosef to become king of Mitzrayim. This is the point, right? The turning point in his life.
Mhm.
Everywhere else, he was basically, really, he was going up. They didn't know. He was going down, 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 down. He was sold by his brothers, came down, Potiphar, sold into the slavery. The other dream, still on a downer. Now's the beginning of the up. He becomes king. That enables him to then bring his brothers. That's where the up begins.
But then goes down again, they become slaves.
That's a different point. I'm saying true in history, but for the perspective of the brothers, this is the beginning of Golus.
Mhm.
This is the beginning of the shifting point where he becomes king, so he can bring them down. And when we want to know how we can overcome the darkness of exile and the Golus which we find ourselves in, the answer is the story. Yosef empowers us when we allow him and his message into our lives, empowers us to overcome the struggle. And the result has to be What's Paro's result that he's looking for? How does Paro know that Yosef is correct? I wonder about that.
He joined the ants and journey.
You're right.
He felt the
Okay.
journey.
He had
Also
something
the
to
solution
do.
for what?
You what?
He had something to do about it. He was able to accept it because there was a way. Yeah, there was a way.
We
forward.
all have a dream deep down. We know the true answer. And we all sense the truth when we are given the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You relate to it like, oh, yes, that's true. How do you know?
No,
Someone told you.
You just know.
'cause
What?
you know.
Usually someone should told you.
He felt it.
It's also intuition.
You sense, right?
You don't have to work to believe it. Like it's natural.
Emes is just recognizable. Truth. And Pare recognized it because it answered the question, and then he was like, wow, that is absolute truth. Yes,
If we're not
yes,
sure about
yes.
something, does that mean it's not true?
Well, it's not true for you.
I think
It's not true for you.
Maybe you're lying to yourself, but you know it's the truth.
It could be that's not true for you.
What
But
was
maybe
the
you're
truth
You
here?
don't believe it's the truth.
Here's what happened. So Pare had a problem, right? What was the problem? The problem was, I don't get how you have fat and thin, satiety and famine simultaneously. And the answer was,
Why not?
what?
Why not?
You prepare.
And I don't get that one detail that always bothers me in the story. Is that where did Yosef get in this whole dream that his position, he says, and Paro should put someone, whoever that is, who's going to be in charge of collecting the food. And that meant Yosef. How did that play in exactly? The point was that you're collecting food. Why is it you? Where did that come from? It was going to be you collecting the food.
There's only a person who could see the solution to be that person. Someone else will still only be focusing on the 7 videos. They're not going to think ahead.
What does it take to be that man
Oh.
who sees and experiences the solution and feels the solution? What?
Somebody that experienced that already.
So what's the solution? The solution is why do we live in contradiction? Why do people live in contradiction? Why is it that sometimes you see satiety and sometimes you feel famine? What causes that?
Being uncertain.
Things.
When you're not sure about something.
Right? Hashem is always taking care of you. It's never, ever, ever a moment that Hashem is not taking care of you. Now, if you see it, sometimes you see it, you notice it. And sometimes you don't notice it. In those times you don't notice it, is Hashem still with you? So why don't you notice it?
Harder work.
It's more challenging to notice.
No clear sign.
But actually, in those times, Hashem is with you. Big time. He's right there with you. He feels you. He knows exactly what's going on. He feels your pain. He feels your life. That's what happens in the bad times. In the good times, it's easy to notice it. What you want to do is very simple.
Like the story with the food stuff.
Yep. You want to be able to successfully live with Hashem all the time. The question we want to learn is, how do we live in Hashem's presence all the time? How do we find ourselves never escaping the presence of God? Always feeling Hashem in your life. Wouldn't that be amazing if you always felt Hashem in your life? How do you do it? So you guys were saying before. Yes, that's how you do it. what you do is you decide to do it. Simple. You choose to say, Hashem is with me. You ever heard of the saying, Trach gut mit sein?
Mhm.
What does that mean in English?
Think it'll be good.
Think.
Person.
Now explain to me. Think what?
Think good.
What does it mean think good?
Think that Hashem is always
Think that
with you
it
at all
is good.
times.
What?
Think that it is good.
Think that the
Whatever's
positive-
happening.
Whatever
This is
the
good.
think that it will be good.
Or that it is good now because
I think most of us translate it as think that it will be good.
So that's
It's
what.
at the
Think
moment.
that's the most positive thing that you want to happen.
There's no
If
good.
we just had a minute like this, very good, then we would never do it.
Right.
It's different.
Isn't it
It would be
different
nice. I feel like it's easy to just do it. But I Hashem wants, it's good.
There's a difference
Right,
with
there's a
Rabbi
difference.
Nachum Eshkam.
But don't you feel sad very often when you say that? When you say whatever Hashem wants is good.
Probably means that you're not seeing it.
So that means if Hashem
Convincing
wants
yourself.
me to be, to never get married, chas v'shalom, then
What if
fine.
Hashem wants that?
Well, like I
Hashem
just
doesn't
Why would you
want
want
that.
that?
Hashem
But
doesn't
I don't want that.
Why would you want that?
So maybe that's emunah. That's not bitachon. Two ways you can go and try and get something. The one way is by trying to grab it like that. You want to get something. The other way is by going like this, expanding your space. I have something, and I'm going to expand it to be better and better and better so that I get more and more and more whatever I have. Which way do you think works better? To go like that, to try and get something outside to come in, or to expand my space further and further out?
Yeah.
It means,
Except what Hashem wants.
why baby so busy all the time?
Just trying to get something.
Just play.
Ready
To get something means to feel needy.
Oh, I need it. I need it.
What does it mean? What happens when I bring to expand?
What's it like to help someone else deal with their issue?
Oh, so much easier than dealing with your own. I'm great at giving advice.
How easy is that?
No, like
So,
If you-
so easy to tell someone what to do. So it's, yeah.
If you already
Yeah,
have what
know
you
they
need,
to do.
right? God willing, you found your shidduch. You're good. You have what you need. Now you genuinely want to help a friend. What's that like?
You're
Versus
supposed to help the same way you want to be helped.
what?
You're supposed to help in the same way you want to be helped.
well, but not necessarily everyone wants to help the same way. You have to see how the other person wants to be helped. I don't think everyone wants
But isn't it true that it's easier to help when you're not in a needy space
Yeah.
Yeah.
than when you're in a needy space?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, suggestions.
Isn't it true that when you okay, kiddo, what are you trying to get? What's it like trying to babysit when you're just happy? What do you think kids feel? Okay. Now what? Schnell. Count that schon. What a kid. What do you feel when you're in a happy space?
Now they're not in the house.
A happy space means
You're
that
full.
I'm good. I feel full. I feel great. Everything's wonderful and amazing. And I want to share with you that happiness. I'm not saying I'm happy. I don't care about you. I'm saying I'm happy and I want you to also feel happiness. That's expanding the state of happiness. Imagine you could do that even when you were lacking. Imagine you could always do that. So you don't have to actually have what you're expecting to get. And even though you don't actually have it, you live in the space that you do have it. You know what's going to happen to you?
You're gonna get it?
You'll get it. Yes.
Like for real?
You have it, you
No,
know.
not too much of the hum. I'm talking about like something, anything else. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
try out and understand how this works. Right?
But the point is that your goal isn't to get it. Your goal is, that's the point, or else it will take away from your ability to be truly expanded. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm doing this as a circular.
But by yourself.
The question we're discussing over here
Oh,
is,
I've done that for
how
years.
do I
It's like chocolate.
constantly look for, how do I spend my life and my time that I'm in now looking, searching for a chassan? And even while I'm looking desperately for a chassan, not to feel like I'm desperate in any way, shape, or form.
It's like you were saying before, like trying to be happy without feeling this happiness. So it's frustrating for one side because you want to be happy.
Now, do you see why Parrot didn't know what to do? He heard the sikha, he heard the dream, he got the thing, he said, but what are you talking about? How do you do this together? I don't understand what you're saying. I like what you're saying here, but I don't relate. Ain poiser oisam nefare means it wasn't entering his brain. He couldn't wrap his brain around it. That's not what are you saying? How do you do this? That was the question. And if we can figure that out, we're good. It's not figured out with any way to. It's not figured out. It's experiential. Let's try to experience it. That's what Yosef was doing. Nobody else could solve the problem because it wasn't an intellectual problem. It had to be expressed and explained intellectually, but essentially at its core, it wasn't an intellectual issue. It was a fundamental issue. How do we do this? So all the Hartomim were like, I don't know. If you have one, you have the other. You don't have the other. You can't have both. It doesn't make sense. And who was Yosef? And when we appreciate who he was and what he was about, and when we can internalize what he was, then we too can answer that. So that we can live and be full. And be full. Imagine what it's like living when you're full. You have everything you need. You have an abundance of everything you need. But you are preparing for a time when you don't.
No, that's so depressing.
Why is it depressing?
It's like
You're helping a situation from a position of strength. You have so much money. You have billions and billions of dollars. All you're supposed to do is just don't indulge. Just live normal, frugal, normal, and then you'll have everything you need to put away.
Like life insurance. That's
Some people have money, right? So they have money.
I think like in like your perspective, like
No, I'm saying let's say you earn $1 billion. So you can either choose to get on private jets and fly everywhere and do and then go into parties every single night, or you could say, no, I'm gonna live exactly the same I was living before, on my same salary. I'm gonna just put everything away for later on. No stress. No stress at all.
But what is the point of having $1 billion if
Yeah.
you're not using them?
I'm using it.
When
situations come up, you'll have.
From a position of strength, I'm helping out. Now, let's try the other way now. Let's say you have nothing,
Yeah, that's what I say. What if you don't have $1 million?
right? But
And we all relate to that.
But you already drew the power of Hashem down from before. So that you see Hashem and you see the Eibishter and everything. And you find him right there and you feel his presence. And you know you're not in a state of lacking. Because he's actually got you covered. He's actually right there with you. You know the story, your Meir Premishlan was a very holy rabbi. So the story is that he would go down to the mikveh every day. The mikveh was a slippery slope down the mountain, all the way down. You had to go to get to the mikveh, to the river on the bottom. And your mayor was an old man. He would go down every day, 30 steps stride, like walk down, no problem. And one day, 2 youngsters decided to follow him. Like, if the Rebbe could do that, for sure we can. And they fell and broke their bones. When they came back to him later, after they recovered a few weeks later, they said, Rebbe, how come you have no problem to walk and we can't do it? His answer was, As mis verbunden oben fällt man nicht unten. I'm not walking down, I'm on a harness. Connected. I'm hoisted up. I never went down. I wasn't walking down the mountain. I'm just connected to something on top. And I'm just doing the steps. It's not what I actually am doing. Each of us has that in our lives. So here's how you do it. You become a Yosef. What's Yosef? As was pointed out before. Let's try the exercise of Yosef. Yosef says exactly what Meir Premishlana said. If you're connected above, you don't fall below. He fell. His brothers sold him. He fell more. Potiphar, he fell more into the dungeon. What did Yosef say at the end? What was I doing the whole time? Some people would say my life is dysfunctional. My family, an absolute disaster. The worst family you could ever come from. My brother sold me. What lovely siblings they were. They had a choice. One said, kill him. No, let's be nice. Throw him into a pit. And then they settled on, let's just sell him. How nice. My father had issues with favoritism. Didn't really know. My mother died young. It's got a lot of reasons to be. And then I get sold, and Hashem abandoned me. And when Yosef repeats the story later on, which is at the end of 39 years, 22 years of being away and 17 years after Yaakov was with him, and Yaakov dies, and Yosef sees his brothers come along and they say, we are now your slaves, because they understand that, of course, the reason why he wasn't taking revenge was only because his father was alive. He had too much respect for his father. What does Yosef tell them? I don't know what you are talking about. Elikim, God thought it was good. And here's the words that he uses. Loi atem shlachtem oisihena ki ha Elokim. You didn't send me. It was Hashem. What? You guys sold me into Golus? What?
The question was he actually feeling that, or he was just saying the right words?
Anybody was feeling that? This was Yosef. Meaning,
That was the problem with the brothers. They couldn't.
I don't think there's any other way to survive if you don't feel
I
that.
don't think he would have been where he was at.
His whole demeanor was that. What's Yosef about? Yosef felt God every single step of the way. Every single moment he thought, Hashem is with me. Hashem is with me. God is here. You tried.
No, what made him inspired to do that?
What avoided the
That's
Shema
his source.
What avoided Hashem? I'll tell you exactly what it was.
What did he do to get there?
Very simple. His father gave him a ksayinus pasim.
But it was taken away.
His father gave him a garment that was multicolored. And it wasn't because his father didn't understand the rules of favoritism. Don't give one sibling what you don't give to the others. But rather, he knew that Yosef, of all the brothers, would need this more than anybody else.
No,
They took it away.
They took it away.
But Yosef
The idea.
got the message of the multicolored garment. And what is that? That colors are not made in one shade. The beauty of colors happens from the blend of colors together. And that was a message that Yaakov was sending his son. He was saying to him, your brothers have one level of beauty. They're holy people. Holy. The trouble is, there's an unholy world. And to the brothers, the unholy world and the holy world are opposites. Your mission, Yosef, is to blend them both together. Your mission is to take the holiness, even though you live in an unholy state, and blend the two together. I want you to live holy in the unholy. And that's the beauty of colors. The beauty is when you blend the colors together and you get a spectacular view of a brand new color that comes from the synthesis of two colors together. And Yosef took that message, the message that was given to him when he was born. His message when he was born was, your name is Yosef. Why did his mother call him Yosef? It's a great name to call your child. What's his name?
I want to know.
I want another one. Don't worry. Imagine what he spoke about with his therapist. My mother, she wanted another baby and she named me for the next one. She was like, oh, great. What she named him was someone who has the ability to draw the next level in. That's you. I'm not dreaming about my next son. I'm talking about you. You have the power to bring God to the next level, to the acher. That the acher, the other one, should become holy too. What's the power of Yosef? What Yosef does is he lives with Hashem in every single situation. Now try that out. Here's how we do it. Whatever happens to you, look at yourself and tracht gut. What does it mean, good? I don't know. What do you consider to be good? So let's talk about what we're talking about. What would the day of the chuppah feel like? God willing soon. What would it feel like the day of, I found the right basher, the right guy? Wow.
How do you know?
You're literally talking about like what people
You
say
have
to
an
imagination.
How would you know?
So like whatever we imagine is totally different than what reality.
Yes, who cares? Doesn't make a difference what it'll actually feel like. It makes it what you dream it'll feel like.
And that's gonna be it.
Wait.
That's how you don't have too
When
high
you dream,
expectations.
what?
And they say you can't have too high expectations.
I have
No,
very
but
high
it's like-
expectations. I know how to bring
This is
them.
not about expectations. This is about
Isn't it teasing yourself like that?
what do you want?
Isn't it like teasing yourself?
No.
You have it.
That's not,
That's
again,
thinking
You have it.
this is about
Then you get some because you're
Hashem allows, he's giving you a certain koyach. And he's saying, whatever you want should be, may or may not be. That's up to Hashem. We're not God. He is the one who controls the world. But he's telling you, I'm giving you a certain koyach. What do you want? Whatever you want, how will you feel when you get it? That's what's up to you. Not whether you'll get that or not. It's called, in Tanya, it's called, the words used are Toiv Hanira V'Anigle. Toiv Hanira V'Anigle is the good that's seen and sensible and noticeable. What do you consider your Toiv Hanira V'Anigle? So you say, I'll be under the chuppah, and I feel like I got exactly, unbelievable, I got exactly what I wanted. Now, how will I feel? Now, if I have that now, how will I feel?
So good.
Joyous. What else?
Floating.
Floating. Okay.
Willing to work
Content.
harder.
Let's take some defined feelings. Grateful. What? Satisfied. Peace. Okay? Now here's what we're going to do. Those are the feelings of satiety. In the years of famine, we're going to bring that feeling right down to the years of famine. And we're going to say, you do know, right, that when you have, God willing, a shidduch, mitzvah Hashem, that happily ever after, that's the fairy tales. That's when issues begin. Lots going on in life, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, I got it and it's finished. When you have famine, you have satiety. When you have satiety, you have famine.
Always
It goes,
together?
no, always not together. And
You're
you
always
make it
thinking of the
together.
next stage.
Why?
You're always,
Right.
you ever notice people? They say, I'm dreaming to go, and then I'll go away to Hawaii. in the middle of the winter and I'll get some summer. Oh, it'll be beautiful. Then you get to Hawaii. What do you think about?
The winter.
Your bed.
I
You
miss
miss
Think
your
about, oh
bed.
my gosh, I'm so bored on the beach here. What should I do? In the summer, you go to Hawaii and like, I wish I was back home this parking. We never live in where we live now. Now let's try this out. You're living in a state and you're saying, I want something. I'm needy. I want a shidduch. Let's get unneedy. But try this as a real exercise, which is think about what will be when you have it and then take that feeling. It doesn't mean tracht gut. Think that it's going to be good, that I'm going to find the bashet. No. It means think that the feeling I'll have when I'll find the bashet, live with that feeling now already. To think that it's going to be good is easy. You know why? Because really you're feeling bad and depressed. But I know that it's going to be good. No work. Right? I'm going to be depressed.
This way, also you can Italian.
You can't what?
You are not happy also. Even you are.
Which way? The other way.
This way. No,
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because it's too hard work all the time, like all the time. And when you're not working, you even feeling worse.
Right. It's hard work. You know what it says? Ivdu es Hashem besimcha. What's avoida? Avoida is miloshin ibud oirois. It's like taking hide and tanning it and working it. And it's hard work. Le'abeid is to fix up, to work hard. What are we fixing up? This.
I have a question.
But those
It's so difficult. This what we're talking about now is easy to talk about. It is laborious.
Like very
Is that a real word?
Hard.
Yeah.
really
You
hard.
trust your baby grammar.
But let's say when
also
you're
what
very
was that
tired.
from Latin?
Yeah.
It's actually easier for the
Yeah.
Brazilians
You
to
cannot be
understand. So I feel like he's
working
doing that
the
on
whole day
purpose.
Yes, when you're very tired, it doesn't work. You know what I suggest? Sleep well.
I have a question though.
Yeah,
There's an
I
emotional.
know, I know, Hanami. If
An
you,
emotional
dependent.
tiredness
Emotional
that
tiredness.
yes, you have to be present and be able to be happy and in a happy space. And it takes taking care of yourself, eating right, not overeating, not undereating. It takes sleeping right, not overindulging in sleeping 18 hours, knowing how much your body needs and sleeping that. Not 4 hours and 5 hours and saying I'm good. What your body needs. Not
Some days I'm gonna be
and that
like,
your body doesn't need 12 hours and sleeping the same one every night.
So yeah, hard to
That's really
Taking care of yourself so that the body is able to function. Absolutely. The body can't function when it can't function. So it doesn't know what to do. When you're in that good space, now comes your hard work. And by the way, I'm not taking away that your work is going to be harder than many other people. I'll tell you this much. Every single person on planet Earth, I don't know what it was like 100 years ago, but today, what you're going through now is the challenge of our generation, I believe. Our generation is taught that wherever you are is no good. The next step is where you want to be. And if you get there, you'll be good.
oh my God.
And now
Right.
is no good. And even in Judaism, they teach us that with a lot of well-meaning.
Oh
That if you'll become a gadol, if you'll become a tzaddik, if you'll become some whatever, fill in the blank, then you'll be good. And it's true, you should become that. But you won't be good if you do that. Because you're good now, where you are. And every morning when you wake up, you say, Elikai, my God, Neshama Shanasata B'Tahiri, the soul you put inside me is pure. Live with that purity. Experience it. Feel it. Feel how special and amazing it is. All the Khartoumim are standing over there. And every one of them is living in a needy space. Every one of the Khartoumim, what does he say? I want to be whatever. I want to get there. I want to be something there.
I will have daughters.
And because of that, when Pare says satiety and famine at the same time, they don't know what he's talking about because they don't know how to do it. Everyone can say, yeah, sure, what do you mean? Fat cows, thin cows, because you're collecting the food. And Pare listens and he says, you don't mean what you're saying. Because the energy around you is screaming neediness. And what you are screams at me so loud, I can't hear what you say. You could say everything's good, but you feel needy. And I see someone needy and I sense someone needy. So I don't know what to say to tell you. In walks the ultimate of presence, Yosef. And what does he say when he comes in? His energy was talking. He says, when someone has everything they need and they feel they're good, and they think that why they're good because they have what they need, you're a lost case.
Because you're dependent on those things.
Because you're dependent on something external. Exactly.
You can't control.
Exactly. You're a human being. You never have what you need. Ever. And if you ever say to yourself, I'm good, I have exactly everything I need, then you just made yourself dependent on something.
What did you make yourself dependent on?
Whatever you have. The day you lose it,
I have everything I need. I don't have everything I want.
is that good or bad?
That doesn't sound too good. What?
Yes. I think it's good. I have everything I need. Hashem is taking care of me. I want other stuff. Great. Of course. Why shouldn't you want other stuff? But the stuff that I want is not going to make me happier. Happiness is your decision. No thing, nothing that you're going to get is going to make you any happier than you are now. You are in the best position Hashem ever placed for you. That's what you have now. So you're amazing. But not because of what you have. So the message is, number one, when you have stuff, expect that you won't have it. Why? So that you don't define yourself by what you have.
Right. It's not to prepare yourself for the worst.
Exactly.
Sounds pessimistic.
Not pessimistic. Yosef is like, I'm tied up. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm connected up. If you give me the most amazing compliment, you tell me that I'm unbelievable, you know what I'm going to say? So nice. You're in a good mood today. Why?
You can't be compliment.
So that the next, no.
So what?
So you're not depending on the compliment.
Yeah. If you compliment me, that's nice. You're amazing. You are amazing for compliment. Thank you.
But it doesn't affect you at all.
But I don't get up or down because of
It's
you.
not a human.
Yes, it is.
What you have there is called golus.
But it's a disassociation.
Golus is exile. Exile means our souls are bound to Hashem. Our soul is connected to God. It doesn't need anything to make it more complete. It has the ultimate completion one could ever dream of. It doesn't need anyone or anything to make it complete. You are complete. The day you realize that is the day you draw more completion to you. Have you ever been around someone who's just complete?
Yeah.
Present? Happy with their own skin? You ever had that? Can you think of some people like that? Very rare. But you have them. It's not someone who's not trying to do things. They're not someone who's just like sitting over there. Yeah, whatever happens, happens. It's just someone who, when you talk, they listen. And when they want to get stuff, they want to get stuff, like you say. They don't need to get stuff. They just want it. It's good. Why not? Hashem wants me to make a deer, but He wants to make a home for you. Let's make a home. So they do stuff.
That works with spiritual things as well.
What do you mean?
Like the things that you want, the goals that you have for mitzvahs or things that you want to do. If you're not proactive about it, that you don't need to do them, you just want to, then doesn't that mean you do them less?
Well, let's say someone does an Aveira. Chas v'shalom. How do people feel after an Aveira? Guilty.
That's your Sahara.
That's a Yetzirah. He says, let's get out of equilibrium. Let's feel bad. Anytime you feel bad is Yetzirah.
We should feel bad.
What do you mean you shouldn't feel bad? You should feel good? Yes, you should feel good. Because if you did an Aveira, it's a different conversation. You fall. Now it's going to be more difficult to feel good about yourself. That's the tshuva.
Can you just explain how it connects with like wanting Mashiach? You know, the Rebbe says that we want Mashiach. We don't need.
He said you should want Mashiach. And what does it mean to want? What does it mean to want Mashiach? He said, I want you to live with Mashiach. I want you to learn about Mashiach so that you feel his presence now. And I want you to want Mashiach, not want Mashiach.
Or like when you
Bring him down to your presence now.
Well, Mashiach, because you want to fill mitzvahs, not because you were lacking things, because you were involved.
I have everything unbelievable. It's amazing. Hashem is with me. It's great. I want
not at the level that
Hashem is with me, but the world doesn't know about it.
Right.
So I want to expand this to the world so that others should get it too.
But it's not good.
What's not good?
To be
satisfied
satisfied,
with
I
that.
don't feel Hashem. I don't, even as much as we can think about it and live with it, I don't have Hashem. The
You're
problem
not
of this,
I
want
do have Hashem.
Right, but
Not
Well,
enough.
you cannot grab it.
What?
You can't grab.
Right. So what's the
That's
solution?
something-
So what's the solution?
Not full happy. Like
The solution is bring
complete
him down
happiness.
more. If you want more of Hashem, so then get what you have and ask for more. And bring down more of that.
So we keep asking for more, but we're not getting
More bitachon, more parnasa.
Oh.
The more bitachon you have, the more connected you are, the more you'll draw goodness to you. Want to draw more goodness? Be more connected.
I think that
How do you be more connected? It's laborious, hard work every morning, every moment. Know what it is? Your brain's going to tell you, very nice, you're not good enough. That's what your brain will keep on saying all the time. Say that no, it's not good enough. It's not good. This is just very nice, but I am different. I want to get there. Here's the point. Bitachon is not so that you're saying I can rest on my laurels. Bitachon is so that I can make what I want happen. The more connected you are, the more it's going to happen. I want to get married. The more I want to get married, the less I can get married. But if I want to get married, I really want to get married, I bring down to myself the experience of being in a total state of absolute bliss.
But how do you create that disassociation? The same way that you got to
Create it in your mind.
of that feeling through having that object. But then how do you take that away, that object? You thought, how are you going to
If you
feel
open up a
everything
Likutei
you want,
Diborim, you'll
but
see.
without everything that you want? How
I'm
do
going to read
get
to you
that
Likutei Diborim, the opening of Likutei Diborim.
So can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Is there a concept, like I had in a different class that like
You have what?
I had in a different class that there's a concept also that he's never like there's always something like running inside of him, like he's never really calm because
Yes.
he doesn't calm.
That you never calm, you should be calm about that too. You should be calm about the fact that you have that. Look what Likutei Diborim opens up. Thinking is potent. Not only is the thought the first and innermost of the three garments of the soul, but thinking produces results that extend into the realm of action. Concentrating on a good thought concerning another is in itself an act. Although it is an act only in the context of the world of thought, it still needs to pass through the succeeding stages of speech and practical action. Thought knows no bounds. No partition can stand in its way. At all times, it reaches its required destination because I don't need to have the thing. I can think about the thing and I already have it because I decided that I have it. So then he says, somebody asks the Rebbe, he says, but what benefit does the other party have from that? I think good about him. So he says, he benefits in rich measure. And then he adds, the Rebbe asked him, and where were you last Sukkot? I was thinking about you. Right?
But he didn't know he was
It is known and certain that thinking bears fruits. As everyone knows from his own experience, thinking is a starting point for action, which comes into being after a certain progression from one spiritual level to the next. And he goes on and on about that. Machshava, thought, can change you. Totally. How do you think? You have machshava zaros, foreign thoughts. What's a foreign thought? A negative thought. It's bringing you down. Even if it's coming from a good source. It's saying, oh my gosh, you didn't daven today. You need to daven better. That's Yetzer Hara.
But then how do you grow if you don't have
How do you
that?
daven better?
The answer
You don't
is,
have that thought.
you want to daven better? Think how amazing it is when you daven better. You daven good. What's it like? And say, let's think about that and expand that. Always go like this rather than like that. Expand what you have and go outwards.
Then how do you like?
Be a Yosef. You see what Yosef is? Add. Don't feel needy.
You can't ever
And-
think like I did something wrong and I have to fix it.
No.
You didn't do something wrong.
What's wrong with doing something wrong?
You did something wrong.
If I did something against my child, if I hurt his feelings, what should I be doing? Thinking I did something wrong? Or does it make more sense to think my child is hurt? How do I increase the goodness in his life that he shouldn't be hurt? Do you see the difference? The one is, I did something wrong. Oh my gosh. What should I do? And then you're going to grab around for something to do. And the other one is, there's a hurt child. What do you do with a hurt child? What? You increase the compassion and love. Yeah. Very different.
So
From a position of goodness, expanding goodness. That's Yosef. That's why Yosef says, someone, Yosef, should be the one in Mitzrayim. Someone who's absolutely present, like no one else has ever done before in history.
Why does it happen?
Why what?
How does
Some-
that have to come in?
Yeah, what- Like if you
Why,
put
what?
someone in charge, doesn't really matter who it is.
What? The person,
But it does. You
really?
need some experience. You don't
If you are, God willing, one day, the mother of your kids, you have a tremendous power in that family. They follow you. You're the leader. If you're needy and you wake up every morning and you're like, we gotta get to school. We gotta go now and get out of bed and let's go. And then you start slapping your way across. Whoever doesn't get in your way, figuratively or actually, whatever you're gonna do. That's one way of operating. Or you wake up in the morning and you're excited to be. We gotta get to school, guys. That's so amazing. And you increase and expand the goodness and you spread it across the whole family. What Yosef was doing was becoming the leader of Mitzrayim. And he says, Mitzrayim is a state of limitations, by the way. And Yosef's saying, what's the problem with Golus? What makes Golus Golus?
that we believe in it.
Yeah, that we're needy.
Huh?
That we believe, I don't understand. I'm full and I'm empty at the same time. I don't get what to do. I have what I need, but I feel like I don't, and I'm not. That sense of neediness, that is Golus. It's not, it is Golus. That's how you are in Golus. That's Mitzrayim. What's Yosef? Inserting himself in that exact spot. That ditch, the gates al Maves, and he says, Hashem is here. It's all good.
How does it feel that?
You try it.
I
Tracht, gut. Feel that Hashem, I just told you how. Feel that Hashem is with you.
But then what?
How are you going to feel? How are you going to feel, vividly feel, when you found, God willing, that chassan of your dreams?
Yeah, but
Now
then
close
you
your
think about
eyes.
it, and then you're depressed because you don't have that.
That's one way. Again. I didn't say. I said this was laborious. The hard work.
It gets stuck.
Ivdu es Hashem besimcha. The hard work is to be besimcha. It is so difficult because the Yetzer Hara is all the time going to tell you, nah, let's just be depressed to finish. And you have to work hard. And second, you have to work hard, very hard. You know why? Because you're like a soldier, and you're fighting the forces of evil are fighting against you. They're working hard to bring you down. The Yavonim, they're bringing you down. And how do you fight with Mesiras Nefesh? You become like the Chashmonaim. And you say, no, we will not accept defeat. And every time Machshav Azar comes your way, and he says, you're not good enough, push him aside. No, you don't think about your chassan. Again, all I want is one thing.
Keep thinking that, though.
Hold on. I want to clarify this so we're clear on this. I didn't say to think about your chassan. Because you don't know who he's going to be. And no thinking is going to make him be something that he's not. What you're thinking is, how will you feel when you have that chassan of your dreams?
So that Yosef did every single day of his life. He thought
Every
it was gonna be free.
single day. He woke up in the morning. He sees he's in the prison, and he sees those two guys, right? Remember that? He sees two guys, and they're like, he says, guys, the butler and the baker, why are you guys sad?
And then he wonders why they left him there for
We're in a
2
pit.
years.
We're in heaven here.
You know why he wasn't sad?
He wasn't living in jail.
Because he wasn't living in jail.
So
He wasn't living in jail. He was all the time, Hashem is with me. Hashem sent me on a mission into the jail. God sent me here. He sent me to change the jail, to make the
and
jail an
sometimes
awesome
there's
place.
also like two points. There's like getting to that point of always being hopefully that's Hashem like
Oh,
Yosef,
yeah.
and then like being there and then getting to that point. So it's also knowing that when you're still
This is
working
life.
on that,
Yes.
when you're going back and forth, when sometimes you still have that battle of like not seeing Hashem and having that
Right.
presence, still knowing that's part of you growing and
Yes. That's why we have
Being part
Yosef's
of it.
story. Because we often find ourselves in a dungeon for a lot longer than we expect it to be. And it's hard.
But even while you're pretending we're in the line, you don't see the girls around us, you don't see the other girls, wearing shaitos around us, whatever it is. You still need to be in contact with the shadchan, and you still need to think about it and daven about it. So like you're living in a contradiction.
Have a friend, sit down, and air out your frustrations.
so now it's that.
You're allowed to vent.
Isn't that
But then you're
negativity?
If I say have bitachon, you
sand
can't have
and the
bitachon
quicksand.
until you let out until you vent it.
Once you let it out, it's gone.
No,
Yeah.
it gets worse.
Oh, once you let it out, you're able to
Sometimes just not
relax.
Let out how you
Maybe
feel.
that works.
It's
You
not
need to
fair.
speak to the right friend.
It's not fair. I want to just point out to you, when Yosef meets Sarah Mashkim, you know what he tells him? He meets the
Right.
butler. What does he tell him?
Please
Get
tell
out.
He
her
says,
about
"Ki
me.
gunoiv gunavti me'eretz Abram. I was kidnapped. I was stolen. V'gam poile asisi mumo ki samo silver. I did nothing in those places." He was really, really
So
upset.
he
He
knows.
vented. The same guy.
Wasn't that a
doesn't-
problem?
No, it's you need to vent, meaning to let out how upset you are. I'm upset. What does it say in Tanya? At designated times, you vent.
Mm.
That's what you do. Lil Shishi,
Not when you feel it.
look who's back.
Hello.
On a Thursday night, right? Lil Shishi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Overcookable.
On Lil Shishi, or whenever you decide,
Hello.
you sit down and you say, okay, see? You sit down on a designated time and you say, I'm going to let my frustrations out. I'm going to empathize with me, feel. have someone who's sitting there and who really understands your pain. And when someone understands your pain, and you feel heard, okay, got it? You can't change the situation. She can just listen to you. And you listen to her. When you finish the listening, now let's move on to the next step. Now let's be totally confident that Hashem is going to help you and give you what you need. And how do I know that? I'm going to feel now the absolute serenity and presence of Hashem in my life now. That's Yosef. I don't need fat years or thin years to make me feel good about Hashem. Because in the fat years, I realized the purpose of me having is to be able to accomplish. And when the years are thin and I have nothing, I'm complete.
Why?
Because I'm always complete.
Is that living in the now?
No, it's living with Hashem. It's living with Hashem in your life. It's always being able to see the good. Always. Whatever happens to you, you see the good. Do you notice how people can live in two different ways? Yesterday, we were lighting the candles over here. You see over there? The candles were lit. So we lit the candles. So we put up decorations. Nice, beautiful Chanukah decorations going all the way from one side to the next. It's not there anymore. On top of the thing. And I was sitting on the couch, and suddenly the decoration fell. We didn't think about that one, that there's candles under the decoration. What happens when a paper decoration falls on candles?
Oh, wow.
So I was thinking to myself, I was just me and my daughter. I was thinking, lucky that I'm here, because I would have noticed if it fell on fire. And I told her that. She said to me, it is on fire. I was like, uh-oh. I noticed that this thing was the candle had caught it, and this whole thing was like there was a gush of fire, like, whoa. And I'm like, whoa. So I was sitting right next to it, and Hashem helped, and I grabbed it, and I took that thing, and I jumped through this whole decoration. I threw it into the sink, and then I saw there was more fire in the other one. I just like dunked the whole thing underneath, and Baruch Hashem was all good. The decoration's gone. And then I go back and I was thinking, wow. Now I have two choices. What just happened? Man, we put up such nice decorations and ruined, destroyed. And everything always goes bad. Why couldn't we do it in the right space? Why did it have to happen like that? One could come back and say, Hashem loves me. Because wow, so amazing. Sitting right there, and I was able to save the house from burning down, and it was amazing, beautiful. Whenever something happens to you in life, the worst possible positions, you always have a choice of how to choose. What would you want to look at it? Bad or good? Choice is yours. You decide. If you choose to see the good in it, then the good will come out. That's the message of Yosef. I'm going to wrap it up because everyone wants to fall asleep already. But what?
No, what about if the bad
No,
is
no,
not
sleep.
bad itself? If the bad is that you're upset that you can't see the godliness in your life.
Oh.
Thanks.
What'd you say?
The bad is because you can't see the godliness in your life.
Yeah, it's not about the
Do you
bad,
know
it's
why
about
you
not
can't see the
doing
godliness in your life?
it. Because you're not doing it right.
Because you're not looking. Start looking. Yeah. See Hashem every step of the way. Notice God in your life. The more you notice Him, the more He'll be revealed. You notice Hashem in your life?
Sometimes it's easier than others.
What?
Sometimes it's really hard to find.
Isn't it absolutely incredible to notice Hashem in your life?
It is, but then with the time, the hardest time is when you don't have that.
When
When
you're
you don't
tired
have it,
and
that's
hungry?
when no, not even. It's just like you can see a shidduch purchase, and sometimes it just you don't see it, and then it's like you know what it means to have a shidduch purchase and see it. When you know what it means to have a shidduch purchase and see Hashem, and then suddenly you're potential or whatever the reason is, you don't see it anymore.
Right. Because you don't want it. If you want to see the Hashgacha practice, you will. It's a choice.
sometimes it's much easier to find than others.
Yes. I didn't say easy or not.
Yeah.
Learning your word.
But the decision of whether to find Hashem in your life now is up to you at any given moment.
Even like the bed Hashem is giving to you.
Even what?
So like you
It's not bad. It's
find Hashem. Hashem is giving this bad thing to me right now.
Right.
So Hashem is with me, and He knows that I'm suffering, and He is giving to me, and He's not doing anything about it, and He knows.
I'm just 1 second. I'm suffering
It's hard.
because I decided that I'm suffering.
Okay.
That's why I'm suffering.
But it's hard.
I think we daven wrong. You ever daven to Hashem and say, Hashem, you're not daven for hours and you cry and you say, Hashem, I'm suffering so much. Shmaku ileinu, husverachim oleinu. Have mercy, have compassion. I need that shidduch. Let me just get what I need. Come on, God. Everyone else has it. Just give it to me. You ever daven like that?
No. Sometimes, yeah.
We ask for reveal good.
Right. How do you ask for reveal good?
Isn't that what he wants?
Do you ask?
You.
It's not an unrealistic thing that we want to be, I don't know, like to win an Oscar or whatever. Like Hashem wants us to get married and have him.
Right, like we learned
Yes.
from Chana.
Hashem.
Give us a husband so we can
Right.
Chana for our kids.
So we can watch, and then how will you feel?
To fulfill our purpose.
But yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure mine.
to fulfill our purpose, like to continue to interact.
You know when a little child comes over, and how do little children get things out of their parents?
They don't
They
give up.
Please,
No. Or they demand. And
Huh?
they
When they cry, you give it to them also.
Yeah.
But then are you like excited and happy to give it them again when they're crying?
No.
How about when they come in and they just made the cutest face ever? And they got it and they're just like delicious. And then you're like, can we do that again? Like, what do I need to do to get that face again? I'm so excited to get that face again because you want to do it again because it's exciting.
So
That's what Hashem is with us. He's dying to give us what we need. It's chalishing. He just says,
Why hasn't he?
what?
But then why hasn't he?
Maybe to smile more.
Because that's how Hashem gives, not that way.
So how do we go?
Hashem gives you that way. How do we do it? Let's try right now. We're sitting out of Fabrengen. And it's Chanukah. It's a special time. Do you feel how exciting and awesome this moment is? This moment, now. What's awesome about this moment?
We're discussing very real.
No, that's ability. What's awesome about this moment as it is now?
That it's now.
And what's special about it?
We're living in the moment.
Go like this.
Hashem is here right now.
Try this. Want to see how awesome the moment is? Do that? How'd you manage to do that?
Because Hashem gave us life.
Because I decided to do it.
Hashem is.
There's only one way you can do that. Al kol neshimo neshimo tahalil kol. For every single breath of life, you praise Hashem. You feel God. You lighting up your life. Is God present in your life right now? So amazing.
So we shouldn't ask for things. We should just thank Hashem for what He gave us.
You should experience Hashem and ask to expand what you have. You should ask Hashem. You should come to Hashem and Shema Kalin and say, Hashem, I'm so excited. I'm so happy just being in your presence. It's so amazing to be in your presence.
Real.
And it'll be so much more amazing if you give me more of the stuff. I would be so much closer if I actually got that shidduch.
But isn't he saying that you
I don't need
already
anymore.
happy? Why do you
I don't need anymore. I
You're
just
not
love you. Nothing else.
I want you.
We're just rehearsing a play, but it's
1
not
second.
real.
Hold on.
Right.
I ask you 1 second.
I'm not asking you
Does
You shouldn't
Hashem
believe that this is amazing. Why you asking for more?
Does Hashem want you to be married? Yes or
Yes,
no?
100%.
How do you know that?
Because you put in the Torah.
Because he put in the Torah. So therefore, is this moment good?
Well,
Does he still want you to get married in the next moment? Does he want you to be married in this moment?
no,
No.
because I'm not married.
No. How do I know he doesn't want? Because then you would
So
be.
how do we make him want it?
You experience goodness in a moment. And you say, Hashem, I feel your presence. It's so beautiful to be with you. I love being with you. And I know that the more Torah and mitzvahs are spread in the world, wouldn't it be amazing if there was someone else like me? I'm bribing. It's an experience. If you are good, if you're in a good space, so then it's like Hashem says, she's really, really good. Let's get more of her. First get married and then have more of you. That's how you do it.
No, but you know when kids like know how to play their parents and know exactly like how to react. It sounds like we're thinking, how does Hashem want us to behave?
Right, except that kids are not playing. They get how things work.
Very real.
It's not that you're not playing. It's that I'm more inclined to give when I feel like I want to do this. Why are you still sitting here?
I want to be here.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to be here, would you figure out a way to leave?
Yeah, we were just.
Right. If you want to be here, you want to be here. So that's why I'm still here, because it looks like you guys want to be here. So I'm like, okay, so I also want to be here. I'm gonna get tired soon and fall
Does that
asleep.
mean happy people basically have more brachas?
What?
Does that mean happy
Absolutely happy people have more brachas. You didn't notice that?
Yeah, they're always happy.
100%.
They're happy with the little brachas that they have.
Yes, and I want more of it. I want more of it. Why? What do you mean? I'm happy now. Does that mean I don't want Mashiach to come? I don't want the whole world to be filled with goodness? I have it every day for it.
Do you daven with happiness?
I daven on an absolute state of happiness. What?
Did you switch how you daven? I know you did the last way.
What do you mean?
Can you show us how to daven properly?
Where do you daven? And
No,
where
she
do you
was
stop?
asking to ask the question, how do you daven?
That's what it's saying.
You daven to Hashem and you say,
Start
start off in davening and you say,
We should do
Wow.
like this now.
I acknowledge. I acknowledge that you exist, God. Wow, I'm a Jew. I have a neshama. That's so unique. Like, I'm your child. Wow.
So you are grateful, but you're not asking for anything.
I'm grateful and I'm excited.
Right.
And then Baruch. You know what Baruch means? I say brachas in the morning. What does Baruch mean? To bring down. Baruch Ata Hashem Poikeach Ivrim. Note, I'm not grateful. Actually, I didn't want to wake up today. I preferred sometimes.
Not to open my
I'm just
eyes.
noticing. I'm noticing I open my eyes. And that's divine. And I'm noticing that I got up in the morning and I stood up like if Kufim. I'm noticing that Sha'asali Kol Sarki. I have everything I need. That's my brachas. I draw down Hashem. And then I'm like, wow, let's stay hoidu now. Splendor and glory wherever Hashem is. Excitement. Filling the world with God. It's awesome. Go through davening. And you say, Yehi chavoid Hashem le'olam. This is so good to be with Hashem. I want this covet of Hashem to be filled, this whole olam. Yismach Hashem b'maisav. Hashem should rejoice. There should be simcha everywhere, not just where I am. And the whole thing's like that. Asher yesh be'meisecha. How excited are people who live in your presence? Ashrei, that means excited, right?
Like they live with like joy.
Yeah, lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's living with Hashem.
Yeah.
Like you believe everything's gonna be fine and good.
No, is going to be fine.
When you read the translation.
Poiseach es yodecha, masbiach kol chai ratzon. Hashem, people just open their hands and you just give them everything they need. Wow. What a world.
And then,
Everything's...
then you come to the Amidah.
You're going through davening and you're going through further. You're seeing the greatness of Hashem everywhere. And then you start singing. Az Yashem Moshe V'Nisrael Shalat Hashem. You're like, wow. Hashem Bayosh, Hashem Emu, He always saves me. He always helps me. All the time. Hashem Yimlech, Le'en Avoid. Hashem is King. It's unbelievable. Shtabach Shimcha. You're great. He shines on Amir Lawrence. He shines in this world.
So that's a no more problems.
Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad.
No, you're so happy.
Only oneness of Hashem. Wow. God, this is beautiful. Love being here. Love being in your presence. So excited that you chose me. Tell Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad about Avraham, right? You chose me to be a Jew. Wow. This is so unique. I can't believe. What did I do right? Like, wow. Thank you, Hashem.
There are a lot of Jews, like I saying.
There's not that many Jews. And every one of them is unique.
The rest of the world.
Yeah. Very like minute, nothing. And I'm one of them. Cool. Hashem, it'll be so nice if this expanded. Now I'm going to make my brachas of Shemoneh Esrei. Hashem, I want to draw you down, Baruch, to bring wisdom to people, Choin Adam Das, to people to do tshuva, forgiveness into the world, make all the sick people well,
So it's for others. It's
bring
not for
money
me,
to people.
Because I am already.
I know. Maybe I'm sick. So I want to draw down, and my body should experience that health also. I should feel the health everywhere. I love being in your presence, but something in my body's hurting.
So you're not
And I
wrong.
wish, what?
You're not. I'm saying like to come like to the expanding the mood of davening that you already have.
Expanding the goodness that is inherent and bringing it out to be even more present in the
How does that
goodness.
connect to someone who's
But
sick?
this you're asking.
If someone is sick,
so you're lacking something.
so there's a lack of elokus, there's a lack of godliness in that space. And I want to expand godliness to reach that space too.
But why is there a lack of eloquence in that space?
Because Mashiach hasn't come yet. So I want to bring Mashiach down. I want to bring Hashem down into the world. The whole
That's
world should
supposed to be the
feel
reason
the
that we
glory of
ask for
Hashem.
someone to be healthy.
When you are anything you're asking for means they're bringing Hashem to a place where He's not present, He's not revealed now. That's the whole davening.
You know, so
And then you finish it and you say, "Wow!" And this is the completion. That's what say Hashem Elokeinu.
So I don't understand the difference between coming from the place of needy and the expand like in the asking part.
Hashem, being with you is amazing.
Yeah.
Can we have more of you? If a child comes over to a
But then
parent,
it doesn't
if a
depend on
child
Hashem.
comes over to a parent and says, "Mommy, I love being with you. Can you cuddle me in? Can you lie down with me?" Right? What does mommy say? What about the kid comes the other way? Says, "Mommy, you owe it to me. Better lie down with me now." Well, how about if the kid screams and cries? Now, obviously, a mommy can know whatever. But you see the difference?
Yeah, but
When a mommy feels like she's like, the kid's so sweet, so cute, and he's asking that I cuddle with him now, so is expanding the goodness. He wants more of it.
It just looks so much cooler to be like, what? I don't know, it always bothers me. Like, I
Crying.
feel like when we come to like, let's say the clay song, like, it's like people like sound like a boy and crying. It's like I don't feel like we
It is-
come to that environment. We don't look.
It is that
in a
that
way, it's like, oh, that looks so much cooler. But like,
that is the roots of mental health issues.
what?
When you see someone davening and praying like that, and they screaming and shouting, it could be that's real. By the way, I'm sorry, it could be that's real.
Crying and emotional. I'm
It
not,
is
I'm not
real.
saying it. I'm not
Yes,
saying that.
crying and emotional is great. When you cry, I'm talking about when you. I'm saying when you cry, and you feel that like life is a shambles, life is so terrible, everything's terrible, and the world's falling apart. That's a problem. You want to feel
Right, it comes from helplessness.
right. That's the problem. That's the mental health issue.
What if you're going through something that's making you feel like your life is apart? And it's like the same.
Why is your life falling apart? What's good?
No, like a serious situation, like someone was very sick and they passed away.
Right?
That's your life is falling apart.
Why is your life falling apart?
That's almost a year.
Hashem is with you at any point in time. Someone said to me the other day, we Jews are entitled to be to have anxiety issues, because after all, if you look at our history, we went through so much sorrow. Gosh, they were always killing us.
It's in our genes.
like persecutions and pogroms and inquisitions and holocausts and whatever. And then she says, someone else comes and says, isn't it amazing that Hashem took care of us the whole time and we're still here? It's unbelievable. Did you hear Rabbi Lau speaking once? He spoke also exquisite Rabbi Yisrael Lau. The reporter asked him, he said, how are you so happy? You're a 7-year-old boy. You went through the Holocaust. You lost your parents. You lost your family. You lost everybody. Only your brother came out. You saw starvation. You nearly like died in a million different times. And then how are you happy? He's like, you just said it. How? I lost my family. I lost everything. And I'm here. I survived to tell the tale. But I shouldn't be happy. You have a choice every moment of your life to choose how you're going to feel it. In the moments of neediness, of absolute neediness, which is when you have the lean years, you could feel the satiety. In the moment of satiety, you can feel the neediness. If you decide to feel happy and to feel Hashem's presence at any point in time, Yosef enters the picture. Yosef was all about Hashem's messenger. This is God's messenger to good and to bad. This is God's messenger to change this world. I'm here on a mission in this world. Nothing good happens to me, nothing bad happens to me. As me is verbunden, even fällt mir nicht unter. I'm connected, I'm hoisted up. I'm a shliach elikim shlochani lifnechem. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not in a dungeon. I'm going to do my thing, air out my frustrations, vent. I know that Hashem is with me the whole time. God is just present. I'm going to increase the presence of Hashem.
So why is it making you suffer? What does it help with you by your suffering?
And ultimately, what did that sufferer become?
So you think that we're making ourselves up with
Yes.
our reactions to
Belcher will literally
For
say
12 years, he was waiting for his shidduch to come about, to get out of the prison. Joseph.
Yeah.
And then it happens. He gets out, and Hashem is with him, and he feels the power. That's what Chanukah is. It's this festival of Rabbim Biyad Me'atim. So difficult. The Rabbim are so many. There's so much more power to them than we have. It's not fair. They're so much stronger. How are we supposed to survive this one anyway? And Hashem says, I'm giving you the power. When you have Mesiras Nefesh, what does Mesiras Nefesh mean? Hashem is with me even in the most difficult positions. Try it out. Sit with a friend and Fabrengen it out. First, let your frustrations air. Afterwards, sit with them and say, work it out. And lie yourself down and say, how do I feel when Hashem gives me all the goodness that I want, the ultimate goodness, when I have the fat satiety of everything I'm looking for, and I have it now? How do I feel? That's in the lean years, having everything you need. Because when you have everything you need, you'll still be unhappy.
That's what I'm like.
You ever see people who get married? After they get married, they still have all the same problems as before because they just carried the problems over. That's how we are. You want to solve the problem? Solve it. Don't wait for something to solve it. No thing is going to solve the problem.
What problem?
Whatever problem you're dealing with that you want to solve. The problem of loneliness and abandonment, and what else did you call it? That
Wait, so
problem.
Just gonna have that
they
anyway.
don't want to get married
Talk
because
about those things, because the more you talk about it, the more you're
I
just
actually don't remember.
be more frustrated instead of just talking to a peer or someone who has a bit more experience.
Right. So only one friend and one must be I can talk to. It's not about you talk to them and you air out your frustration. You say, I'm really, really upset. You find a time to do it. You designate a time. I want to tell you why I'm upset. I'm upset because it's not fair. Hashem does it to me. Everyone else is finding it. I'm not finding it. I'm finding it so difficult and I feel so terrible. And you get someone to empathize with you. And you feel heard.
Can I ask
And after you feel heard, then you ignore those thoughts and you put them away as machshavas and you focus on the goodness in your life. By the way,
So I know,
I just want to throw this into the mix. That's a bit more of a complexity. The miracle of Chanukah, the way it's explained in the Sikhs, is an impossible thing. Because the basic problem is that oil has to burn. Every day they have to light the menorah and fill it up with oil. The menorah has to be full on day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. Full. Now here's your problem. You have to fill it up with what oil? Olive oil.
Oh.
So it has to be made from an olive. You can't create oil by miracle.
That's squeezing.
It has to be full olive oil, otherwise it's not halachically kosher. That's problem 1 on the one side. On the other hand, the oil has to burn. If it doesn't burn, if it's just pretending to burn, you won't do it to the mitzvah. So you have to burn oil. So you only have oil for 1 day. You have to let the oil burn, actually burn, but not burn, because if it burns, you won't have enough oil the full day to be complete in the top. You get the idea? Now, how do you make such a miracle? If you say create oil, Hashem can create whatever he wants to create oil, no problem. If you say that the miracle is that Hashem's going to make something burn when it's not really burning, it look like it's burning, okay, Hashem can do whatever he wants.
That's not the nature.
But how can Hashem make the oil burn and yet not be burnt? So that it's full the next day. Impossible. That's the contradiction of Jews in Galus. We live in this Galus. We burn in this Galus. We suffer. We're looking for shidduch, whatever that shidduch is to each person. So that's burning. At the same time, nothing's burning. I'm in Hashem's space all the time. Never left his space. I never went out to Galus. Totally bound to him at every point in time. Never for a second do I feel disconnected from Hashem. All the time. I'm in his presence. I'm in his love. His absolute love. All the time. I'm burning. I'm not burning. And it makes no sense. It's the power of God vested in you. That is the story that brings miracles. You can make miracles in your life. I'm going to teach you how to be a miracle worker. Answer is, well, you can't do miracles, but Hashem can. Bring Hashem into your life and you'll feel the miracles. Just bring him down. And the miracles will happen. How do you bring Hashem down? You daven, and you let his presence rest in your brain. When you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I need, not God. When you say, I feel Hashgacha Pratis, I feel Hashem here. Wow.
What if you're tricking yourself?
You don't trick yourself, you work it. The thing was burning. The decorations were burning. Which way is tricking myself? Oh my gosh, the decorations I put up are burning? Oh wow. The decorations that are in my house were burning when I was there. I was able to see it and save the day. Which one's tricking yourself?
You can work out
And
step
who
by
made
step.
it burning?
There are always two realities. You know why Hashem made it burn?
Hashem saved you from the
No.
burn that he made.
No. Hashem gave me an opportunity to feel good midas, to feel his presence, to bring him down.
What if you can't find positivity?
Look deeper. There is always positivity. Ein ra yerd milamayla. When you identify the positivity, you chap it, you see God, you expand. You see more of it and more of it and more of it and more of it and more of it, and it grows until there is Hashem kamayim leyom b'chasim. The whole earth is filled with the knowledge of Hashem as waters cover the ocean. That's why Chanukah is the Golus, in the middle of Golus, dark Golus.
So we have to be positive with the things that we have and see the good of things that we have already. But then once we don't have these things anymore, then what?
You don't have what?
Let's say I'm thankful that I have a job. I'm thankful that I have a place to live, whatever it is.
Again, what do you want? Shidduch?
Yeah.
How will you feel when you have it?
Happy.
Feel that now. Tracht, good.
Okay, but I can't like rely on physical things.
It has to be unconnected from anything that is actually
Right.
present in
It has
it.
to be a feeling, a palpable feeling of goodness. That all over you it's written, Wow. You know what's going to happen afterwards? The guys are going to come rushing at you. You know why? They're going to hear, wow, there's this person over there, and she's so holy. Everything about her, she's so like it's a person who draws power to her, energy. I want to be present in that energy.
I think that's based on the fact that we know it's going to happen. What about the story? I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but the story with the guy that lost his arm, and then about filling, they was sad he couldn't put on fill anymore.
Right.
Wasn't it like, oh,
again?
he didn't
You
have to?
don't know what's that story. That story is he wanted
Someone
a
else,
goodness
not
to come
us.
to him.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know. But I do know the goodness will come my way.
But he wasn't supposed to put on fill.
Correct. But he got Hashem to love him more. He didn't want the tefillin. In that case, he didn't know what he
He
wanted.
wants a connection with Hashem.
Connects to Hashem.
Mhm.
Hashem says the mitzvah is tefillin. But if you don't have an arm, then it's not. It's just shilresh. Right? So Hashem tells you could do a mitzvah if you have the power to do the mitzvah. And if not, then that's the way of serving Hashem. What you want is whatever Hashem is
Not
giving
doing
you.
that.
Yeah. Hashem took away his arm.
So right now, our
Hashem is telling you whatever you want
Yeah.
with that experience of being married.
Mhm.
Feel Hashem has no limitation. Nothing stops him. Nothing blocks him. Time and space don't block him. Don't think I'm going to have this tomorrow. Tracht as sevet sein gut, and it's going to be good. Feel the power of Hashem. That's why Yosef enters the picture. And Yosef is the one who solves dreams. Only Yosef can bridge the gap. That gaping hole. That big valley of desperation. And Yosef can save you from that desperation. Even when I walk in that valley of death, of loneliness and abandonment, I have nothing to be afraid of. Hoist it up. Ata imadi. I'm a shliach. Find Hashem in a place where he's never been to before. Enjoy the fun. Find God everywhere. That's the goal. That's the miracle of Chanukah. The miracle is that there's this Jewish people always present with Hashem, no matter what. Always with His presence. And when you feel this, you'll see it expand more. So here's the homework. Homework is to imagine and feel and live like Yosef. That the Yosef, what I want to add, the Bein Acher, is already here now. He's born and he feels the Bein Acher. That which is there is already here. Feel that? And you walk in front of Pare. Pare is the king of all your problems. You walk in front of him and you say, the reason why you don't know what's going on is because you feel needy. And you don't understand how to reconcile different feelings. But me, I'm hoisted up. I always feel Hashem in my presence. Hashem is always here. So when it's good, it's not really good. It's Hashem. And when it's not good, it's not really not good. It's all Hashem. Both of them.
What does that mean?
Feel Hashem's presence every moment.
Sounds so cliche.
What's now is amazing. Is your life amazing? Is it?
We can find the good things in our lives.
Come on.
Are we focusing on the good things, or are we saying that everything is good?
Yeah, but then you can
Don't just say that.
things because of things.
It's like so crazy.
Is it?
It's like so many ups and downs.
Because you decided that. But isn't it amazing? Look, you're alive. You're breathing. You're doing Torah mitzvahs. You're existing. You're here. You're free. What else do you want?
So are we focusing on the good things that we have, or are
Focus
we
on the
thinking that
awesome
the
things
things
you
that
have.
we think are bad
Feel
or
how
good?
beautiful
Those
this
are two
is
different
just to
things.
be here.
Hashem is with you.
What? Yeah. Hashem is with you right now.
Positive.
Now, let's increase that positive.
You know what?
Hashem, I want a shidduch. And I'm really excited because I know that Tracht with Zayin is going to give me the
Yeah, you're
shidduch.
saying not to expect it.
Yeah, but then you get disappointed.
I expect the feeling that comes with it, not the it. No thing will bring me happiness. I have the happiness now. Whatever you want that happiness, you'll have then. I already have it. Why do I have it? So he says, because I feel it now.
So let me feel purposeful and satisfied being married or not.
Great. This is the moment. Tracht gut. Feel good. That's sein gut.
Now, what are you supposed to think and feel when you just don't want to do all this and put in all this work and you're not feeling Ashrenu and like you don't want to be part of Hashem's chosen people?
Having to Hashem to help you to see the light.
Get out of the
No, that's what most people holding by. That's true. That's what most people say.
Right.
That's the difficulty. I'm not saying if do as Hashem, but Simcha, I rest my case. Simcha is an avoida, a hard, laborious avoida, not easy to be with Simcha. Because every moment, Yitzhahara is going to tell you, this is absolute hogwash. It's nonsense. You should just be sad. It's going to say, your life is a misery. Stop thinking that it's good. It's not. It's terrible.
Not about a misery. It's just like you don't want to be
Right.
in this hard working life.
Correct.
Like,
Guess what? You are. What do you mean though? You have a brain and it's thinking all the time. Your brain never stops thinking for a second. Your brain is all the time thinking, driving you insane.
You never get.
There's a Meshugana in your head, and he's always in your head. You have the choice to decide how to handle him. You don't have the choice to decide whether to handle him. And people think suicide's an option. Doesn't solve the problem. Because A, you don't know what happens afterwards. And B, a lot of people around you are left in a very sad state. Very nice.
Very selfish.
And you're missing out on all the good things that are going to come. The
Yes.
Goyim also have the same problem. They have a more peaceful life. You know? It's so fun.
Yeah, not really easier than Jews in many ways, but they still have complexity. Sure.
Wait, Rabbi,
I feel like we
Yeah.
have. If Hashem made someone like more of a pessimistic person, then does that mean Hashem would be more kayak to you?
I have to just tell you, Hashem made all of us today pessimistic. Do you know why?
Well, if that's
So
what
that's the
Hashem
challenge
made
of our
us.
times. So
Because you have a phone in your hand. That's why.
What?
So hold on.
Now you bring a whole different thing into this.
Your phone is the source of all your problems.
Just
feeds
throw a
you
whole different
negativity.
thing in
Yes,
there.
and why? I'll explain to you exactly why.
Because on the phone.
Because on the phone-
If you get this, the phone tells you every day. Like,
Your phone says all the time, where you are is no good.
I'm gonna be in trouble if you just.
Your
give up on
phone
your
says
phone.
all the time.
Yeah,
It
we
says,
need to be in
Your
touch
phone
with her.
tells
Don't
you.
tell her that.
She goes on phone breaks
Tell
all
it
the
to
time.
someone
hold on, hold on.
on.
A phone is amazing. Keep your phone. Don't drop your phone.
No.
Your mother needs to be able to
I
contact
don't
you.
allow it to own you.
Wait, what?
And that means if you need some breaks from certain apps, you're allowed to take them.
It means
No WhatsApp. though.
it means when you need to reach someone, use it to help you reach someone in a functional way. But don't allow it to tell you whether you are worthwhile or not. Don't sit there and say, when you watch yourself, you see I'm bored. So I'm bored, so I'm looking at my phone to see where can I get some sense of meaning in life.
Let's say if you're already doing that.
Not just,
Now, what
it's everything, by the way. It's
Okay,
food.
when you're
When you
doing
eat, why
that-
do you eat? Half the time.
What?
Keep yourself awake.
To keep yourself alive, existing, to feel your existence. I'm eating, so I feel existing.
So what you should do?
Eat when you're hungry. You need to.
No, yeah.
You need.
But when you are feeling
The more you feel the happiness of Hashem in your life, the more you feel the presence of Hashem, the less you need that other stuff. Because I'm happy.
yeah, but if you let's say you're bored and you cannot take your phone and not eat. So and now you
Yes,
don't
the
have
phone is not the problem. The phone is actually the solution to the problem. The problem is the step before that.
Yeah, but you're bored.
That you're bored and that you're lonely and that you feel like,
That
you know, when you're depressed, what do?
Or you want to connect.
You need to do something to give you someone please text me. And when someone texts you, you feel the adrenaline flowing. Right? The feeling of the oxytocin. That's the problem. That's a space of neediness, sadness. If you allow Hashem to be real to you, you feel the presence of God. The more you do that, the better you become it. Doesn't mean you solve the problem. You don't ever become a tzaddik. No. You never get to a point that I'm good. Solved it. Done. That's Tanya 101.
But if we're supposed to be like Yosef, why is it Yosef that said it then? Like he feels less available for us.
He's very available to us. That level of tzaddik, which is someone he's in the middle of Mitzrayim. He plants himself at the epicenter of Mitzrayim.
Is he really available?
I don't know if I'll get into that detail, but he's in the middle of Avodah and he works it.
But did you ever get to that Eretz Yisrael? Did you ever get there?
His bones do, yeah?
That's
No.
not very good.
No, because when Mashiach
Because
comes,
he
we'll
had a
get there.
shidduch there. He stayed
Does
there.
he, you just want to survive in the Golas, like that.
You survive, thrive, and be
Better
able to
life.
conquer. And the more you feel how special you are. That's what davening is every day. It's not about please Hashem help me, whatever. It's about wow, how special I am.
I am more Hashem.
I'm special because I'm Hashem's child.
So by
Hashem's amazing,
association.
and he connected me to him.
By
Which is great.
association. Okay.
That's the contradiction. That contradiction is the beginning of Golos. Someone gets us out of Golos. Someone gets us into a Geula. And that's how we expand Geula, by living in more. So here's what's going to happen. When you decide to do this, it's going to be hard work. Because very nice saying, it's very hard work when you decide to do it. You'll put yourself in a different space. The good will flow from within. And you'll find goodness right where you are. And what happens is you will attract that feeling that a shidduch is giving you. You will attract that feeling. And God willing, when you do, you'll call me up and you'll say, wow, it worked.
Amen.
So in the
Please do.
beginning it's gonna be fake. Thank you, Hashem.
Right. It's going to be hard work. And you're going to get there. And you're going to daven to Hashem for that. Hashem, help me to succeed in my avodah of conquering this Meshuggah in my head, and overcoming him, and feeling your presence, and feeling the light of the divine of Hashem in my life all the time.
Is the reason Hashem gives us an essay so we can try having an ally?
Yes.
Some of the time we're a bit oblivious.
Absolutely. What is an Nisayon? Nisayon means to pick you up. Harim Nes, right? To pick you up. Avraham Avinu, when he went to the Akedah, there was a river, and he knew the river wasn't there before. And it was just a river, nothing he could do about it. So he jumped into the river until it reached his nostrils. He said, Hashem, I've given up everything I can. As soon as he did that, the river disappeared. The whole purpose of your Nisayonos in your life is to get you to overcome and to win and to get
Or did they say me to realize Hashem?
Yes.
Something like this.
You realize Hashem exists, you brought him down. That's called having Mesiras Nefesh.
But then do you ever get what you want to get?
Yes.
At the end of the day?
You get to the feeling of where you want him to get to. How you get there? Enjoy the ride. Hashem is going to show you. Let him do it. Don't tell him what he's going to do. He's going to do whatever he's going to do it. Tell him what you want, and then let him do it.
Yeah, I have a question. So Bitachon, it's giving you happiness and a better feeling this moment, but it's not bringing the thing that you want to happen right now. Like it's just accepting.
It's
that,
bringing the experience of what you want.
Yeah,
Toiv hanira v'anigle.
but it's not.
You can't have bitachon that this. I can't have bitachon that bottle on the table is going to pick itself up and rise. It's not part of Teva. I can't have bitachon that something is going to happen. I can have bitachon that what I want to happen and the experience I want from it should happen. I feel that now, and it's going to happen.
Not what the feeling is.
The happiness.
The experience that is,
So it's
right?
You're feeling
And it's a surety. It's a confidence. I know.
I know for sure that it's happening. I don't know how.
Not happening. I know it's now happening. I know I have it already.
I have,
The goodness of there, I have here. Now.
You know it or you're faking
but
it?
could be
I sense it. I feel it. I feel Hashem's presence.
it's just like to feel better while you are in the sun. It's not to finish in sun.
Your life just shut off. What?
Oh, thank you.
What?
You
maxed
to
out.
feel better while
Nice.
you are like
Yeah, yeah,
living the sun.
To draw down the goodness right to you. It's a bitachon. What you want will happen, not necessarily how you want it to happen.
Will happen when? It will happen.
It's coming up.
The best way possible
You're drawing a
Yes,
tree.
it's right now.
for your
Right now is great. I'm going to expand the greatness more because Hashem wants me to do Ishtadlos and wants me to give more. Right.
But the bitachon, it's not like to be sure that it's gonna happen right now. Like right now, I see that it didn't, but in the next moment, I'm sure that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like it's there already. But it can be also in time or only the thing.
Good question. That's another conversation. We'll leave that out for a different time. In the meantime, I'm going to wish you all hatzlach
Thank you.
in your avodah.
Amen.
Perfect.
Does this help you make decisions if you're like very indecisive?
Yes, it does.
Mashiach is
What's going on tonight?
Mashiach is going to be.